In this tutorial, we can build this image gallery application with the user of the image in the top. Here is what we can build, and let's build this together. Now let's create a new project for our file upload application, new Spring project, and then let's go to new project, and then it will be Spring starter project. Then next, this will connect us to the start Spring IO. Here we have already the name file upload, and then file upload. This will also be file upload. So here is the name of the project description, uploading file application, and then here we have file upload application. Okay, so and we are using Marvin Java version. Here is 11. So this is what we need. The next is that we want to set our dependency. This is the project requirement. So we need to add dependency. So here the dependency we are using MySql, so we need MySql driver. We need Spring DevTools to save without running the application. We need Spring Web, and then we also need Spring Data JPA, which is the bridge between our application and database, and then we need thymleaf. This is the dependency we need, 5 dependency that we need for this project. So then we will click finish. So this is what we need for this project. Now let me open the browser of here in the perspective, and then Java. So here is the project, and then in the application.properties we will add the properties for MySql database. In the resource, and here is the application.properties. Okay, and here is our package and the starter class for the project. So here in application.properties I will add the MySql data properties. So I have it here, which I already saved it. Okay, now I will just copy it. So this is the properties for my SQL database, and this one is the size of the file. We did not want our file to be more than 200 KB. This is the property for the size. So, and this is the MySql database properties, and here we have Spring data source URL, this Spring data source URL. So this Spring data source URL specify the JDBC URL for connecting to MySql database, and this piece that we have here, which is JDBC, is a hostname, and the hostname in this case is the port is 3306, which is the local host, and the name of the database that we will be using is the user. So, and here we have the password for entering the MySql database, the password for the connection, which is all I have here is root, and then what we have here, which is Spring Hibernate DDL. This property control how Hibernate handle the database schema upon application startup, and the value update indicate that the Hibernate should attempt to update schema based on the entity classes of the and their relationship. So we also have this login level or Hibernate SQL debug, which we set it to debug and then trace. So these debug and trace will generate detailed log of the SQL statement executed. So the next thing, we will go to my SQL database and have this user database. So here in my SQL workbench, I will create a new connection. The name of the connection local instance. Okay, local instance, and then click on the test connection. So I will put the password of the connection. So here is okay. Then I will click OK. Here is the local instance that I just created, and I have to create the user database, which I have here. Now I will create a user database, which I have here. So let's create all this, create the user, which I already have, but let me drop this schema and then create another one so that you can see how I can create. Here is the create new schema in the connected server, and the new schema is user. So then apply. Okay, so here is the new schema finish that we just created. Okay, and then let me close this, close all. Yes, okay, so this is our new schema. The next thing is that we will create a entity class we will start creating entity class for our project. Now we will create package for our model. So in this, let's create a new package, a.model. Okay, in this package we will create a new class which is user. Okay, so now the user is created, the user class. We will annotate this with at entity. So and then we will have two fields here. We will have just two fields inside this user class, which is private ID long ID. So and then we also need private username, string username. This is the only thing we need in this class, the only field we need in this class, the user of the image. So let's annotate this class with @id, and then we need also generated value at generated value, and then we will set the strategy equal to generation type dot auto. So this is what we have in the user class, and then we need also a getters and setters. And let me generate getters and setters for this. Okay, we finish with the user class, and the next thing is the image file class. And let's create, it is also an entity which is have many to one relationship with this user. Then let's go to class image file. Okay, now that I created, it is creating image file. So we also need to annotate this with @entity, and then in this class we will have our user file image, which is a file name, and as well here we also need private long id. So private long id, and then we will annotate this with @id, and then the generation type generation type also, so it is generated value, sorry, at generated value, which is we will set the generation type strategy equal to @generation generated type dot auto. So, and then we need a private file name which is of type string, sorry, file name of type string. So we also need a user, so that we will know the user of this image, private, and then we need user, this user. Okay, so by having this we will know the user with annotating this user with @many to one relationship, and in this case @many to one, so relationship, and then we will set the target entity which is user dot class, and then we will also need the fetch type. The fetch type is the fetch type dot eager. So this is not all what we need here, and we also need a join column. The join column will be user ID, but let's first set nullable to false. Okay, so and then name, which is equal to user ID, so user ID. Okay, user ID. So let me explain this. These are many to one relationship that we have here. Many to one relationship indicate that this entity that we have, image file, has many to one relationship with another entity, which is the user entity, and then this target entity specify the target entity class, which is in this case user, and then the fetch type is eager, which is specify the fetch strategy. Whenever we load this class, it will load with the user entity. So nullable, we are specifying this column will not be null, the foreign key cannot be null values, and then user ID is the name of the column. Here we need getters and setters, which we will not have not put, and then let's go to generate getters and setters, select all, so generate. Okay, this is the implementation. This is all with this class, and the next thing is the repositories. Okay, Now let's run our application before going to the repositories and check our database to see if we have the table with this image file and the user class that we have in the MySQL database. So here is the application started. So this is beta, and so it started port 8080. So let's check our database first. Let's refresh, then check. You see here we have two tables, image file and then the user, and both these tables are empty since that we have not put anything. This is those we start the application. Okay, so now let's create the repository. Before creating the repository class, let's have a package for the repositories. So let's create new package, which is repositories, and then in this package we will have a new class, which is user repository. So this will not be class, it is interface, new interface, user repository. Okay, so in this this will extend JPA repository, extend JPA repository, and in this type we will have user, and then the next thing we will also need long here. So we have to import this user, so and then annotate this with at repository. So in this class we need find by username. We will use the method in our code, find by username, Okay, so then we will have a string, since that our username is string username. So okay, this is the repository for the user. So and then we also need the repository for the image to save the file. So we need image file repository. Let's create interface as well, image file repository as well. This will also extend JPA. So extend JPA repository. In this case will be image file class and then the long ID, and then let's annotate this with at repository. By extending this this interface will inherit or will have 18 method for performing JPA operations, so we don't need to add another method for saving the file. This interface will inherit the save method from the JPA repository. So this is what we have here, and then we will go and look for the service, or we will create the service class. So now the next thing we will do is to create a file service, which is in the class in the package service. So here we will create a class, new class, image file service. So here we will annotate this class with @service. So then we need a method to copy the file, to perform the copying operation from the input stream. Public void store file. So in this method we will perform the operation. So this method will have a multipath file, okay, as well as the user as a parameter. Then we also need another parameter of type image file. So the first thing we need to do is to know where to store file, in this case which is the file directory string. Let's name it file. So the best place to store file in the Spring Boot, like it is in static, we will store this in static. So we need this address. In this case, to get this address we need to add the name like this, source slash. We also need main slash resources send slash static. So then we also need to have a folder inside the static, so that we can, each user will have his folder, so that we can just add many files like this without having to know the folder for each user. We will represent the folder by the user ID. So we need to get slash again, and then plus, then user dot get id, user dot get id. So this is what we will have here, and then we need a path interface. So path interface to get this file path. So the name of the variable here is file path, and then we will access a method which is part of this method will get this directory for us. Then here is the file directory that we will have. So here we will check if this file is empty. If this file is empty, it will throw an exception. If file is empty, which is the file that we will get from the input stream, if it is empty, so here we will throw an exception. But I need custom exception here. Let me create a package for the custom exception package. So in this case exception, which is exception package, and let me create a class for the exception, new class. The name of the class file storage, or let me just name it image file exception, as simple as this. So this will extend exception. So we need a public image file exception. So here we will pass the message that we want to the super class. by collecting the message from the constructor of the image file message. So then we will pass it to super, which is the, we need another message here again. We'll pass this message. So we also need a constructor with no parameter in case if we did not pass the message. Let me just have a general message here. So this general message will be fail performing file operation. The name of this fail performing file operation in case if we did not pass the message. So let's go back to our file service, and this we will throw new image file exception, image file, new image file exception. So here is the exception. In this case we will pass the message. So the message will is fail to store empty file. So we will concatenate this with the name of the file dot get original file name. So we need a semicolon. This we finish with this. So and then we will have a atros for the image file exception. So and the next thing we do is that to create a directory if the directory does not exist. So here we need if file dot, we need if file exists. Here we will pass the path. You see here we will get the path with this method, and then on this file path we will pass it here. Here is supposed to be file. Let me, okay, so this is what we have here. Okay, then we are checking if it does not exist, so we have this exclamation mark, and then if the file does not exist we need this to create directory, create the directory. So we don't need this as well. Okay, this is all we need here, and this will throw exception, so we need to put it in the try catch. So let's just surround with try catch like this. So we have to delete these as well as, so that we can put this into try catch as well. Okay. Okay, so this is not only thing we need here. We need another method inside this try catch which will copy the file, which is files dot copy. It will copy from the input string. So let's check. Here is the method. It will copy from the input string here, file dot get input stream, and then we will copy it to file path. But I need to file path dot resolve. I need to combine the address, the path of the image and our path. So I will use resolve method here and then pass the path of the address, part of the image. So in this case I will use file dot get original name, file.get original name. So here is the original name, and then here, in case if it get another file inside the folder, it will replace using this interface, replace existing file. So we also need to throw image file exception here. Okay, but this time if it is not an empty file, just fail to store file. So the last thing we will do is to save, but here we have we need semicolon. So let me widen the screen. So we need to save the image here. Okay, but we need a image repository before saving the image, which is private image file repository. So there we will save the image file repository, then save image file. Okay, this is what we have so far. This is the implementation, and the next thing we will do is to create a controller class so that we will have our method. We will call this method in the controller class, and let's create another new package. This package will be controller. Okay, so in this package we will create a new controller class. Okay, let's create controller class, new class. So this is file controller or image file controller. Okay, image file controller. So this is what we have, and then let's annotate this with add controller. Okay, so let's define the get mapping and the post mapping for this class. So first we need add get mapping. So we need a method. First we need the save user. Okay, we will have a URL of save user, and then we will need a method public string. The name of the method is user page. It will return user page. So in this case it will return the user form. So we will create a HTML called user form like this. So we need a post mapping as well for this. Add post mapping with the same URL. Okay, and then public string save user. We will use this to save the user. And the next thing is that let's return this as well. So okay, this method, we also need a get mapping for the file upload. We are defining the method that we have inside this class. Okay, so we need add get mapping, a string file upload. Let's just remove file upload. Okay, so here it will get the public string get file upload, the name of the method, get file upload. Okay, then here we will return another page. In this case, the name of the page is file upload. Okay, file upload. So we need another post mapping. At post mapping, which will be file upload with this URL, file upload. Okay, so then let's have public string get, this will be upload image, then as well this will return this file upload. So we are defining this method step by step. Here in this case we have the file upload and the user form. The next thing to do is to add the gallery. We also need a gallery that will, a page that will show our images. So we need get mapping. In this case, it's only a get mapping. It is not post. Add get mapping. So here is gallery. The URL where we will get this is gallery. So then the name of the method, public string get gallery, like this. So we need to return the page gallery. So in this case we will return the page gallery. So this is what we will have. The last method that we have in this class, there is the method that will handle the file size. If the file is more than 200 KB, it will handle the file size, which is at exception handler. As exception handler, then we will pass the max upload exceed class. Max upload size exceeded exception class. Here is the exception. Okay, and then we will have this method to handle public string handle public string handle upload arrow. Let's have upload arrow. So arrow like this. Okay, this is what we will have. Then here we need dot class. Okay, this will return a redirect attribute. So we need a redirect attribute here. Redirect attribute. So let's give it just a variable of re. With this, then we will use this variable to add flash attribute. Add flash attribute. We will use the get later in the file upload to have the message, but for now we need a add flash attribute. So in this case, the first attribute is message, and then the second one that we will add is the message that will pop out: file exceed the size limit of 200 KB. File exceed the size limit of 200 KB. So file exceed the limit of 200 KB. So it will return redirect. It will redirect to the file upload where we are uploading the file. Redirect to file upload. File upload. So this is what we have here so far, and we will start implementing this method step by step. And so here what we need is to save the user. So we need to create this form. So we also will create file upload, and then we will also create the gallery. So this is what we will do next. We will start with these two methods, which is a get mapping and a post mapping. So the first thing, we need to create an HTML template with this name, user form. So here, let me create a HTML in the order. So HTML, and then name it user form, the same name with the what we have here, so that we want it to return the page. So here is the HTML form created, and we need to generate using ChatGPT. We don't need to waste time creating HTML form, writing long code. So here is the question I asked. I want HTML and CSS form with this color. This is the color in hexadecimal. You will see the color later. And div alert, that is a div for alert, which we can use to render a successful message and some errors. So here is what we have it generated, and we will customize this. You will ask the same question, but you may have different HTML form, but you can customize it to what our specification, what we need. So let me copy this HTML form first, then let me paste it here. So here is the HTML form, and then we need to create file for the CSS. So in this static, we put the HTML in the template and the CSS in the statics, including images and the JavaScript files. So here we will create a HTML, which is CSS. So before creating CSS, I need another folder for the CSS. Folder css. So finish, and in this folder I need css, and let me go to order here, css file, and then let me name the css as styles.css. okay, finish. Here is our css folder, css file created. Now let's go back to what we have generated for the css. So here is the css. We can copy it here and then go back to our css file, paste it. Before we customize this, we need to see how it look like. So let me save. So we have Spring DevTool. We don't need to rerun the application, but you need to go to workspace if you are using STS, Spring Suite Tool, and the workspace you will enable refresh using native hooks or pooling. So we don't need to be rerunning this application. You will enable this, so it will automatically refresh, then apply, close. So now let's see what we have. Before, we have to go to the css and call the styles that we have. So this is not enough to call the style. We need to specify this th, which is thymleaf, and then we also need some, let me delete this, we need attribute. So let's find this like this, then css folder, and after css folder then we call the styles.css that we have. And then let me change this name to user form. Okay, we will use this to save the user. Okay, so this is what we have here so far, and let me check this in the URL gallery that we have, URL save user that we have. Then before, let me check to the controller. Here is the URL that we will check this form. It will get the form. So let me check this localhost, and then I will use save user. So this is what it generated, including this message, but we need only the username. This is what we have ChatGPT generated, and let me just go and have our specification. So the first thing is that we will go back to the user form that we just created, and first let's address the alert. So in this alert, what we need, we will go back to the image controller. So in the image controller we need a model interface. So we need something model dot, we will add the attribute. So in this we need a string. So let me delete this. So here we need a message, and the message that we will pass if it is success is that it will be user safe. So user safe successfully. So this is what we will have here, and then we will go back to our user form. Then in this message we will check that we will use if, using th, if first, then th if. Okay, this is what we have, th if. Then we need this attribute if message that we write area is not equal to null. So if message is not equal to null, then we will print the message, which is successful message. And what we need here is that. So this is what we will have here. Message. It will use this to check for the message. So, and then the next thing we will have is that we need to specify how our form, the methods and the post mapping. So we need a method like this. Let me have this method. So inside this method we will have post, and then we also need a role. The role is form, and then we also need th action. Then in this th action we need something like the URL. So the URL will be save user, which is save user. So, and then we also, we also need the th object, okay, which we will set to this attribute user. So we are setting this to user, and then we also, let me save this. So we will go back to the controller and have a model attribute for the model attribute, and then let's have user. So, okay, and then we also need user. So this is okay, and this we need at model attribute, and then this user is not imported. Let me write it again, user. Okay, so this is what we need, and then we will call the repository for the user, which is private user repository, so that we can save the user repository. And then let me call the user repository here. So save the user using model, using user repository dot save user. So this is, we are saving this to the database, and we will have this successful message. So this is what we have. Okay, then let me check user repository dot save. This is the entity that we will save. So in this case we will pass the user as the entity. Saving the user, we will have the message user successful. Then let's go to the user form. So here is in the user form, we will have this as username. So username, okay. So as well as here we need a username. We will leave this as text because the username is text. We will have this as username. Okay, so this is what we will have here, and then we don't need this. Okay, we don't need this, and also let's check this one. We don't need this one as well. Okay, this is all that we need here, because we are just saving the user. Okay, so this is the form that we need here, and then let's check it again in the browser. Let me save the controller. We don't need to run the application, so let me rerun command. Let me come out this. So let me have the name as Aliyu like this, and save the user to see if our form is working. Here we have user save successful, so it is working. And let's check the database and see if it is working, where if this name is saved in the database. So here, let me refresh the database. You can refresh the database here, and then let's check for the DB. So here with the ID name 1, we have this Aliyu. So this is the implementation for the save user. Okay, it is working normal. And then the next thing that we need is to have this file upload, implementation of the file upload. So let's start implementing file upload. We need this page as well. We can save the user, we can upload. We will check the existence of the user and then upload the image. So the next is we will implement this. We will create this file upload. So let's go to template, new HTML, and this will be file upload. So we will copy the same HTML that we generated here, copy, then let's have it. So we will use the same CSS file, and in this case here is the link for the CSS. So we will replace this with the link. Okay, so and then the title is file upload. Okay, and then here we need th. If we will check if we have any message, so we'll check if we have any message, and then we will have something like this: message is not equal to null. If message is not equal to null, then we will have the message here. So message, if message is not equal to null, okay, then here we will have the attribute for the form. So first the method is post, and then we also need the role, which is equal to form, and then we also need the th action, which is equal to the path to our file upload. Okay, we need file upload. So, and then the last thing we need is the end type. This is, since that we are uploading file, we need multi-path form data. So This is what we have, and then let's customize this to username. So init username here, and then here we need file upload, the field that we will use to upload file, and we need username here. Since the type is text, we will not change. Okay, we need username, and then we need a placeholder. So and this placeholder, let me widen the screen. This placeholder we will have enter your username. So, and in this case we will have file, the type is file, ID as well as email. This name is file. So, and we need another placeholder. So here, which we will have upload file. So we will delete this, we don't need this. So, and we will change this to save. Okay, so this is the form that we have, and then here in this case we change this to file. We need to go back to the CSS and have this file. Okay, we already have this file. So okay, now let's go back to our controller class. Okay, and the controller class, we will start implementing this. So in the controller class we have exception phase. This exception, we need to get this message phase. Let me get the message. Here we need redirect attribute. So, and then we will use this to get the message of type string. Message, this is message. If it passes 200 KB, we will have this message. And then let me cast this to string. So what we will have here, we will cast it to this string. So we will use the get flash attribute dot get message, here we will get the message. So, and we also need a model here, model. Okay, so that we will pass the message to the model dot add attribute. So the attribute will be message here, message, and then we will pass this message here so that it can sense the model, our view. Okay, the next thing we need is that we will check if the user exists, so that we will save his file. And then let me change this to, we will use @param attribute, @param attribute to get the username. So yeah, we need username. If we get the username, we will store it in the string. username, so we will store this on the string username. So let me add param like this. So we will need, okay, we will use this username to check for the existence of the user. So here we need user equal to user repository dot find by username, this username that we get using the session. So find by username, and then if user exists, let's check if user equal to null. So we will have a model here, user does not exist, so we will not save the data. Model dot add attribute, here we will have a message, and in this message we will have user not exists. So this is what we will have here, and then it will return the file upload page. So this is what we have here. This message is for the exception if it passed 200 KB if the file, and this it will check the existence of the user before saving, and we need a string. You need to add some parameter here which is of type multipath file. So, and in this string we need a string here, string file name. You will get the file name, so equal to file or multipath file dot get original name. We will get the name of the file and then save the file in the image class. So we need image or image file. So let me check image file. This is the image file. Image file equal to new image file. So, and here we will set the file name, image file dot set file name, and then we need image file again dot set the user, email file dot set user, in this case user. So, and then we also need to call the our store file method. Here is in the image file service. We will pass the multipath file to store. As a parameter, we will pass user and the image file. So let's go back to our controller class. So we need add auto-add, and then call the image file service image file service, so we will access the store file here in this image file service dot store. Okay, will pass the multi-part file, the user, and the image file. So this is what we need here, and this method will throw an exception. We will have add throws to this post method. So the next thing that we will do is to have a model attribute which is successful. So we will just copy this and change the method. Whenever it has go through this, then it will print the message save successfully. Okay, this is what we have here, and then the next thing we will check the implementation that we have. Before, let's go back to the user form, which is file upload. Here is the file upload. We have username and the file upload. I will change this to save. Okay, let's check for this file upload. So here is our file upload that we have. So since that we saved the username Aliyu, let's try with the username Aliyu to see if our code is working. So let me enter this. Let me try to save this. Okay, we are having error. Let's check this error. So let's check this arrow. Okay, cannot invoke multi-part file because it's null. Okay, there is something we forget, that this is the request param, the request for this file. So in this case, we will go back to the controller and then go back to this. In this case, we are working this on null because it is not auto-wired and it is not it has no session like the first one here. We use this param and then get the session. What we will do here is that we need at request param, at request param, then this request param will be file. In case you are wondering, we already have file here as the name, so we will get this by this name file. Okay, let's go back to our controller. So by adding this is okay. This is what we just need to. By saving this, as you can see, we are not rerunning the program, we are just saving. Okay, this is the benefit of Spring DevTool, and that the pool that we have unable in the refresh pool that we have unable in the workspace. So let's check again. see, I save this name, and let's choose the file again and see. Again, we are having the image file repository is null. So let us go and check again the arrow image file repository. We address this, and then let's check the image file repository save object, because this image is null. And then let's check cannot invoke file upload application. So let's check where we have this. I think we are having this from the service. Let's check our service class. You see, here is the where we need at AutoWrite. So, and I think we have addressed in the service class we did not have AutoWrite to save the file here. So this is the only mistake that we have, and let's try and save this. So you see we have saved successfully, that is, we have saved this successfully. And then let's add another name that we did not save, like Ahmad. So we have the first error message for successful, and let's check the other one if user is not exist. You see we have this user does not exist again. And then let's check another one if the file, let me have the name that we already saved, and then with the file that is larger with 200 KB. You see the size of this file is about 892 KB. Let's try to upload this. So we are having error in this because of the multipath file maximum upload size exceeded. So let's go back to our controller. The message did not show, and because we have issue in the controller, image file controller, let's go back to the image file controller and check what is happening here. So we get this message here and pass it to the string get flash attribute get message. This is okay, and then let's scroll down and see maybe max upload size exceeded exception dot class at exception handler. This is also correct. And then we have message file exceeds the size limit of 200, and then we are redirecting this to the file upload. So, and we have this is okay as well. Let's go and check here redirect attributes. So in this redirect attribute we have no issue in the redirect attribute as well. We are getting the flash attribute dot get message. Okay, and then let's try to use get message, and this is where we will pass the key. Okay, this will be message. Okay, there is something we forget to add. If we have exception of this exception handler for the controller to be able to handle this exception. We need to annotate this class with advice, controller advice. So we'll annotate this with controller advice. Okay, this annotation. I think we addressed this problem as well. Let's check a little like this, and then we need to enter this. You see, we have file exceeds the size limit of 200 KB. Okay, we finished the implementation of copying the file. Now we have copy file. Let's check in the static folder. You see the file with the ID of 1. Here we store this file. So here is the image file that we store in the static. Okay, now let's go back to the controller class. Okay, now we need to go back to the image file controller, so that let's check. The only thing that remains is that add get mapping for this gallery. So we will show the images that we have in the browser using this add gallery. So let's go. So we will go back to image file service, and then we will create a method public list of string, which is the list of path. So list of string, and the name of the method is load path. It will load a number of path. So okay, and we will pass the user here, user. So what we will do next is to have the path to traverse. We will be using this path, but before, let's copy this one and then have it here. So, and then we will also need the address. So we will pass the address here. So, and we will be using this part to traverse using the walk method files dot walk. Okay, we will pass this part, and then the maximum depth is 2, because here after the static we have another folder which is 2. Okay, so we will filter this part, escalating this part. So what we will do next is to filter. So in this case we will have lambda expiration. This is a stream pipe. Lambda expiration path dot equals. So we have exclamation mark, which means that escalating this part, escalating. Okay, so escalating this part. Okay, so we will also need another method map. So in this we will map it to string map So path here to string and then replace. We will replace this part with an here to string also. We are converting this part to string here, and then here is what we will replace the part with, because we can easily access it in the thymleaf. The format that we will replace it with after loading the images, this is the format. So we'll have the format like this. Okay, so and then add plus user dot get id. Okay, so this format will supposed to be like this, because what it will return, it will not return the slash of this type, it will return this type. So we will replace this. So we need plus again, then it's and followed by another slash like this. So we also need collect method to collect it and as list collectors. So not this. Okay, let's go back to collect collectors to list. So we will return a list of string, and then this method will return here is what this method will return this, and we will have to surround this try catch. So what we will throw here is our exception that we defined earlier. So throw new file storage exception, file storage exception. You have file storage exception. Let me check image file exception. Let's throw image file exception, not file storage, image file exception. See, you will throw image file exception here. So we will pass, let's add throws for the image file exception, and the message is that failed to read file store, failed to read file store. Okay, this is the implementation here that we have. The first thing, it will walk through the part and then filter this part that we have here, because we don't need this. After filtering this part, and then we will map to string and then replace this part with simple part that we will access using the HTML in our static folder, and then here we are collecting it to list. So then the last thing is that we are throwing new image file exception. Okay, so we finish with this, and then we will go back to our controller, image file controller. So we will start implementing the gallery. So what this gallery needs is that we need a model. Okay, so before this, let's start implementing this method. And then we also need HTTP session. Okay, so when we need a string username to get the username from this method, so we also need HTTP session here, session. So we will get the username using the session dot set attribute, session dot set attribute of type username. So this will be username. We are getting this username here, so and have user name like this. Okay, so after getting this, then we will go back to our get mapping for the gallery. So we use session again. So let's get the attribute here, get attribute of type username. So let's delete this, get attribute of type username. So and then we will store this on a string, username equal to this. So here is what we need here. We will get the username and then map it to string. I'll map this to string. So we are getting this username from the session. From this session, we will get the username inside our gallery application. So get mapping. So the next thing we will do is to have model dot add attribute, and then before having this model we need a user. We will get this user equal to user repository dot find by username. So this username already checked here in this method. We already checked the user, so in this class we don't need validation. So what we will do here is that we will call the method to store it in the list, the method that we just created, list of string. So we need this like this, and then we will have user repository dot find by username, find by username. So not this one, sorry, we need to have image file service dot load path. So this user, we will pass it here, and then we will go back to our gallery, and before then we need to have this will throw an exception. Let's have throws here, and then we also need model dot add attribute. Okay, attribute of type list. We will store this in the path. So we will create, let me close this like this. We will create a gallery page. So let's create a gallery HTML file. In this case we need a gallery here, gallery, so finish. So here the name of this file is gallery. We are deleting this, so it's not responding. Okay, let's name it gallery title. Okay, so we will start having our gallery step by step in the table. So what we need first is the table. So inside this table we need a th and then t body, th, and then we need another th here. Okay, so we also need t body. Okay, so we have th and then t body. So let's see what we will do here. We need a row, so tr represents a row. So in this row, let's see what we will have in this row. So we will have the name of the user. Okay, so in this row it is a head, t head. So here we need the name of the user, which is th text. So equal to @username. So but we need this to put this inside this. We'll get the name of the user with this implementation and have plus image gallery. So this is what we will have in the tr, but we will go back to our controller and add the model that control the username. So let's go back to our image file controller. Here we need a model dot add attribute. So here we will pass username so that we can get the user name here. So Okay, we will now go back to our gallery and finish the implementation. So we finish with the th, and then the next thing is the t body, and we also need a row here in the t body, tr, so tr. Okay, inside this row we need td, which is table data, but before then we need to pass th for each. Then we have path, and then we have the path. This is the part that we have here in the image controller. So let's go back to our gallery. We have this part, and then we need a td, which is table data, td slash. Okay, in this we need image slash image, which is in this case is thymleaf source. So let's pass at, and then we will pass this part. Okay, we have this. Then let me set the width to 400 pixel, width to 400 pixel, and then I will set the height to to 200 pixel. Okay, so this is what we have. So we need a style for this. We need style, so we don't need this. Okay, inside this we will have the line for the first. We need the body, justify content center. It will justify our table to center, justify content center. Okay, and then we also need display flex. So we will go to the table, and also the table will have attribute like this: border collapsing, border collapse, and then we will set it to collapse. And then we also need border 1px solid gray, like this. So we also need display to inline. Okay, we have this. Okay, so the next thing is that th first we need tr comma th comma and then td. So and we will pass the face. We need the border to solid gray. At the same time we will have this. Okay, we also need to set width to max. Width. Okay, so text align center, and then we have font size. Let's size the font size to 24 pixel. Let's set it to 20 pixel. Here we don't need this. Okay, and then the last thing, I think we have a padding of 10 pixel. So we will also will have th again separately. So here th will add additional attribute of background black, background to black. So we also need to color to white. Okay, so this is what we have so far, and then let's go back to our controller and then safety. Let's check if we have any error, but this time let me rerun the program. So the program is starting. Here is the program starting. So it started on port 8080, and let's add file and check for the file in the gallery. So I am adding this. So save successful, and then I will use this to go to gallery and see if our implementation works without. So we have error here, and let's check for the error. So it is in the thymleaf. Will not pass this as username. Okay, I have noticed this. Let's go back to the gallery. Okay, suppose this to be in a this is how it's supposed to be. Okay, and this is why we have arrow. So let's run this. Here we have the without displaying the image. So let's check again. After this, okay, let's check our image element again. So here we have an arrow again. We're supposed to pass this like this. So let's go back to our, okay, this is our image that we uploaded. Okay, and let's upload another one. It's not justified to center. Let's check why. Display flex, like we have arrow here, display. So maybe this is what the reason why it does not justify to center. Okay, and we have this center. We need a space between this allele and the image. Now let's go back to the user. We need a space like this, and then let me run this. Okay, let me add another image, and you can save another user that you want and add the image. So this is not automatically adding the other part. Let's check again and see. Here is the problem that I figure out. This close bracket supposed to be here, and then we will delete this one because file copy does not have to be if the file does not exist. So this is the only problem. And then let me run the application, save the file, and then try adding more images to our application. So the application is starting. Okay, now the application started. Now let's try to add more image by the name allele. So let me add this image. So let's check. You see the image is added automatically, and now if we go to the gallery, let's go to the gallery and see if we can gallery. So here we have 2 images, and let's add more. So we buy this name. Okay, I will add this, and I will also need to add another, and I will add this one as well. So if I refresh this, here is the image gallery for my name. And then if I save another user in the save user localhost, save user, if I save another user by the name Ahmad, we will have this Ahmad again. We will upload by his name. So, and the image is uploading here in the database. So this is our image gallery application. If you enjoyed this video, please you can subscribe to our channel for more on Spring Boot and more courses on programming. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching.